hot today. All right, so we got the Bronco up on the lift, and a little warm here in Southern California today. I'm sweating like a pig, which is a misnomer because pigs don't sweat.
I've got a saying for that, but I can't say it on public TV.
Follow us for long, you'll find out we love beer, and on a day like today, you can't do this kind of work dry mouth. So, what do you got? I'm drinking a Ballast Point Sculpin.
I'm drinking an 805. Lightweight here, but it's really good.
Sculpin is one of my favorite IPAs. So, made by Ballast Point down San Diego, right down the road here. So anyways, we're going to talk about this thing. If you're watching this, it's probably because you watch a shit ton of Bronco videos. And I know there's a bunch of them out there. I've been watching them myself. So I'm not going to rehash all the stuff everybody else has gone over. They've gotten a new Bronco, they've done a walk around, or they've read the spec list or whatever. You know all about that stuff already. But I'm going to show you a view of the new Bronco that you probably haven't even seen yet, because we got this one up in the air. Now, this one is a base model, and we got the lowest common denominator Bronco you could possibly buy.
With one exception.
Yeah, we'll get to that. It's a two-door base model Bronco with the four-banger and the manual transmission. No Sasquatch, as you can tell by those little bitty tires. It's got the plastic bumper and all that. So we got it with no options, except we did get the pre-wired auxiliary switches. So I'm kind of kicking myself for getting those, because now I can't actually say it's the cheapest Bronco you can buy, but it's $100 more than the cheapest Bronco you can buy.
Well, and come to find out, we really didn't even need to get those because it was already wired for that. So.
Yeah, I've heard it's pre-wired, so if you pop the switches in, you're good to go anyways. But
put us some nice S-pods in.
So why did we buy a base model Bronco? Well, two reasons. One, we wanted to pay cash for it.
Right.
And it was hard as hell to scrape together 30 grand. It would have been impossible to scrape together 60 or 40. So we got the cheapest one we could, and we'll piece it together, and it'll be as capable as any of the others eventually.
My side hurts because I did have to sell a kidney.
and then the other reason is I kind of want to, once I realized I wasn't going to get a Sasquatch and Badlands and all that, my mind started going the other way. I was thinking, well, what can you get for $28,500, which is the MSRP of this thing? Well, they tack on the destination. So it comes out to be just under 30 before taxes. But what can you get for a $30,000 Bronco? That's what that became my mission, to find out, and because you can pay twice that for something that's basically the same, sits in the same envelope as this one. So yeah, we didn't get a lot of the fancy stuff. We don't have heated seats or the leather wrapped steering wheel or the marine grade vinyl. We don't have a fancy little Bigfoot walking through the emblem on the side. Big tires. There's no lockers, and we'll get to that. That's going to be an issue. But what I really want to do is I want to show you guys, and as I find out for myself, what you can do with a $30,000 Bronco that you can't, what can't you do with a $30,000 Bronco that you can do with the higher dollar ones. Now, obviously, the bigger ones are more capable in many ways. They have lockers, lifts, bigger tires, better ground clearance. It's my contention that most of you people are never going to even use those capabilities, whereas with us, I think we're going to use the hell out of it. But I want to benchmark what you can do with this stock stripper model, the one at this price, as they put in the newspaper ads. What can you do with this Bronco Can you buy it and go out and have fun on the trails? Absolutely, as I think. Are you going to run the Rubicon? No. Are you going to run, jackhammer, sledgehammer? Probably not. Well, no. But you're probably not going to run those even in a Sasquatch Bronco. But I think there's a hell of a lot of stuff you can do in this Bronco. Most of the trails in our local Big Bear Mountains, I think a lot of them will be able to do. It doesn't have lockers and it doesn't have a lot of ground clearance, but it's four-wheel drive, has low range, it's nimble, and I think with a good driver and picking judicious lines, I think it's going to surprise us what we can do. In our built Bronco, when we're doing a trail, we kind of seek out the tougher lines, because it's fun. The thing is built where if you don't do that, the trails are kind of boring. I look forward with this thing, the trails get a lot more interesting now. You got to be a lot more judicious in picking your lines. You got to be, obviously with a new rig, you got to be more careful to try and get through things without, bashing in rocker panels and whatnot. But I look forward to that challenge. I think it's going to be fun, and we'll take you guys along with us, and you'll find out, as we do, what you can and can't do in a $28,000 28.5 Bronco Base with no options. What do you think?
I think let's do it. Let's go for it.
Yeah, so we'll show you. We'll show you a little bit about what this thing's got, and we'll do a little walk around underneath. But that actually gets in a little bit. If you stick with us, by the way, what did we learn about YouTubers? Hit the like button and subscribe. And there's something about some bell thing. I don't know what it means, but please do it.
Drop us a comment.
Yeah, comments. I guess all that stuff feeds into the algorithm, as the kids say these days. But I think if you're a Bronco enthusiast and you like the new Bronco, or even if you're just curious, or if you're an old Bronco enthusiast, I think you're going to have fun checking out some of the stuff we do. We're going to do some.
Follow along with us.
We're going to
have fun.
We're going to do some interesting things. This isn't going to be a grocery getter. I mean, it'll probably pick up groceries from time to time, but it will get used to its fullest potential at every stage of its build. Obviously, it's not going to stay this way, but we want to benchmark it, find out what we can do before we even put tires on it. It's got the little pizza cutters, and that's my biggest concern. Is they're little 30-inch all-season radials, and are they going to pop at the first sight of a sharp tire? We're going to cut a sidewall or the sharp rock?
Maybe.
I guess we'll find out, but we got 5 of them. So
we got one more on the back, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but we do have plans to lift it. We'll go to bigger tires and a lift kit, and we'll probably have to re-gear at some point, but we'll find out. We'll put tires on it first, and we'll see if we need to re-gear, and if we do, we will. This has the smaller front end, which is another weak spot. We'll see if we might stress it to breakage before we replace it. And then, that'll give us an opportunity to throw a locker up front too. We might put a locker in the rear before that. But we're going to find out. We're going to see what you can do in the Bronco, the cheapest Bronco you can buy. We're going to see just what you can do. All right, so let's take a look at this thing. As we mentioned, it's a 2-door base model Bronco. You guys have seen the interior already, not mine, but you've seen it in hundreds of other Bronco videos on YouTube. But here's an angle that you probably haven't seen yet, and we're gonna go check it out from front to rear. Now this is the base model, so obviously you don't have, a lot of the fancier stuff. From the wheels and tires and lockers and whatnot, this is lacking some things that the Badlands and those equipped with the Sasquatch package have. But it's surprisingly well equipped for what it is. So let's work our way from the front. We've got this bumper here. It's really just a plastic fascia. I don't even know if there's probably a metal, some kind of a metal tube back behind there. It does have some recovery hooks. Those will probably come in handy for us until we get a real bumper on this thing. One thing we are going to have to do, and we'll do a video on this, somewhere underneath this panel, I'm hoping I can get to some mounting points on the frame rail, because I'm gonna have to build some mounts for my tow bar. And I know there's been a lot of interest in how you can flat tow these, and we're gonna be diving into that. So if you are interested in learning about that, stay tuned, because we'll be checking in on that very soon. Moving back, this is you know, the hard parts here on the suspension are exactly the same, whether you paid 60 grand or 30 grand. You've got that heavy duty forged lower control arm. You know, that funky shaped, but really cool steering knuckle there. Some people call it a spindle. I believe, I don't know, but I believe the CVs are the same between the models. I don't know. I've heard they are, and other people have said they're not. So it's the smaller diff in there. It's the M190. I have read online though that they say it's rated for a little more torque than the Dana 44 front end that's in the Jeep Rubicons. So we'll see. We'll find out. We'll probably test it to breakage. So this thing doesn't have a whole lot in the way of undercarriage protection. I see there's basically a plastic, I wouldn't even call it a skid plate. It's more like just an air dam. That's going to get bashed up. We've got more plastic pieces here. Going to have to be real judicious on the trail on this thing. Looks like we do have a nice skid plate under the gas tank. So even on the base model, it's a pretty good skid plate here. That rear end housing, that's an M210 rear end. Same rear end you get in the highest spec Bronco. But it doesn't have a locker. That can be remedied. Gearing can be remedied. But that's the same housing, same ring and pinion. Basically the same strength as the higher end Broncos. Let's see, what else do we got here? Ooh, there's the transfer case. Wow, look how shiny that is. It's rare that I see the undercarriage of a 4x4 this clean. You could eat off of it. So, like I said, we just picked it up, so obviously no dirt on it yet. And that, my friends, is that's a 2-speed transfer case. That's the mark of a real 4x4, and it comes standard in every Bronco, whether you get the $28,000 one or the $60,000 one. Well, on the 60 one, you can option for the higher tech one. Mine doesn't have all the fancy goat modes, but I've got goat mode in my leg and in my arm, so I can make up for what the equipment probably falls short at. So I don't think that's going to be a big loss, not having all those fancy goat modes. Drive shaft looks to be, I don't know. We'll see. There's CV joints at the end of the drive shaft there. I might have to see my friends at JE Reel beef that thing up a little bit. We'll see. We'll try this one out though. It's got a 4-link suspension. Well, technically a 5-link. There's a panhard bar back there someplace. So 4-link suspension. Geometry on the suspension is exactly the same on the higher end ones. There is coilover shock there. You get better shocks on the Sasquatch and the Badlands and whatnot, but that's not going to be too big of an issue. I suspect these will be getting swapped out fairly soon. What else we got back here? Let's check out right back behind the rear end here. There's the muffler there. Looks like it's ready for rocks to grab it. There's these little bitty tires, 16-inch wheels. I'm kind of disappointed that they did 16s on the base. I mean, I like the look of these Steelies, but I'm not going to buy new tires for a 16-inch wheel. 16 is just, it's not that highly used these days. So my tires will be 17s, therefore my first set of upgraded wheels will be 17s also. So what sucks is I can't upgrade the tires until I do the wheels too, but that's not gonna be too big of a problem. We're gonna do both at the same time. Right there, sitting on the lift on the perch, is what I think is going to be the biggest hindrance off-road for this thing. That is the front lower control arm bracket on the frame, and it hangs down pretty low. I don't know if we can mess with it. I think the Ford engineers have the geometry worked out pretty well for these. I think it probably works great the way it is. It's nice and beefy. Looks like it probably can take a hit, which is a good thing because I think it's going to get the hell beat out of it on the trail. It's the lowest. It's one of the lowest parts hanging down on it, except for the shock mounts. And these shock mounts are, they're going to need some kind of a guard or thing. Maybe Artec or somebody will have something for that. We'll see. But those lower shock mounts are going to get beat to hell too. But to me, it looks pretty good under here. Doesn't look a whole lot different than a Sasquatch. The biggest difference visually under here is the lack of very many skid plates, bash plates, I think is what Ford calls them. But we'll solve that with aftermarket parts. But anyways, that's my tour of the Bronco here. Like I said, we're not going inside. We're not doing all the exterior. You've seen all that crap 100 times. I wanted to know what's under the hood, under the chassis, and because that's what's going to matter, when the rubber hits the rocks. So there it is.
Hey, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Let's toast the. Oh, we didn't even talk about what we're naming it.
All right. So, long story. I'll make it short. I like to talk a lot. So, anyway, we're going to name this Bronco here Chanel. It's going to be a sister to my Bronco, Coco. And so, we got the white base model here. And so, we're going to wrap it before we go to the Super Celebration West coming up in September. So, the front.
Don't give it all away.
Oh, shouldn't give it away?
Now we'll do a reveal.
Oh, well, anyway, it's going to be multiple colors, and so it will be Coco's sister, Chanel. Good? I got to crack my beer. You're already ahead of me.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Yes. Hot.
Like one pig waits for another.
Yeah, not.
By the way, speaking of swag, we got to monetize this somehow since there's only 10 of you watching. We have a couple of side hustles.
9 now.
Yeah, there's side. We've got Stephanie has a business called BroncoBabes.com where she sells gear.
I have off-road apparel,
T-shirts.
all for women that are Bronco babes. My whole goal is to get women behind the wheel in a Bronco. Let's get off the pavement. Let's get on the dirt. Let's go out and have a good time. And those people that might be a little timid about going off-road, we are going to be having quite a few videos, and those that are local to us, I would love to get together. We can hook up. I'll take you on an adventure. I don't necessarily have to be the leader, but I will lead it first, and then love to get together with you ladies. Guys, come on, support your women. Get out there and let's go have a good time.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to tell you, man, that passenger seat sometimes it's nice.
He's my mechanic.
Sit there and hand beers forward. Oh, no drinking beer on the trail.
No drinking on the trail.
So we also have another small business called Steed Off-Road, and this YouTube channel is going to kind of be a collaboration between the two. And Steed is also in its infancy. We only right now we have some winch fair leads of our own design, and they're really nice, and a few swag items. But
I don't know what that beeping is.
Yeah, check it out when you get a chance. And remember, hit the like and subscribe and the bell thingy, whatever it is. And we'll see you in the next video when we are going to hit the trail with this thing.
Tomorrow.
Doesn't mean you'll see it tomorrow, but we're hitting the trail tomorrow.
We're going to get dirty tomorrow. So happy trails, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.